Hi everyone, Billy from Ad Support here, and in today's video we're going to talk about the top 5 YouTube audiences to target. So this applies whether you're starting out and just launching on YouTube, or if you already have it live. There's maybe some opportunities that you're missing here that you could benefit from. So want to jump into that, and I'll be very prompt in giving you the 5 audiences and uncovering what I've blocked up there. But I think it's important to get some foundations so that you understand why these audiences are good to target, how we're going to use them, and all that. Get all that stuff out of the way before we just jump into it. So essentially, you need to look at what Google's incentivized to do and how their behavior has been over the last 5 years, probably since I've been running YouTube ads. Similar to what's happening on Facebook, they're taking more and more options away. So it started, it was a big change for us when they moved from being able to target keywords to the responsive video campaigns, where it was only custom intent in market and warm audiences, etc. You couldn't target specific keywords anymore. That was a big change where they took away content targeting as a whole, which also included placement. So you used to be able to pick specific videos that you wanted your ad to show up in front of. That got removed. Video topics got removed, and then video keywords got removed. So what people are actually searching for on YouTube. So all of those options are removed. They're consistently doing that even now with a big shift and big push for Performance Max. If you go to set up a new account, the first campaign that they'll build for you is a Performance Max. And then with the changes that are happening next year, where responsive video is going away, annoyingly, and they're moving to demand gen campaigns, which run on more placements and are kind of easy to set up. The big incentive that they've got here and what they're looking to do is just make Google Ads more accessible for more people, so that they can have more people on the platform, more people spending money, and normally their profit goes up. So with that said, there's always a balance here. Obviously, we want to do what Google's incentivizing, and that is going to broader and broader audiences, and the audiences that are called Google built audiences. But what we also want to do is wrestle a bit of control back, as we do on Facebook. So we're still running broad, but then we're wrestling control back with certain settings, and we're not just letting Facebook or Google do whatever the hell they want. So that's it. As far as what they're incentivized to do, they really just want more people on the platform. So they want to simplify the amount of audience options. If they could just have it where there's one campaign type that is the only one that you create, then it's super streamlined and simple. That's what their ultimate goal is. So just watch out for that. Next is that every offer and accounts vary. So the audiences that I give you, there's going to be some that hit and some that do really, really well for you. Others might just not hit. And that's just a case where it doesn't maybe suit your offer. Depends on the keywords you're targeting. Also depends on just your accounts as well. A lot of accounts can perform very, very differently. Sometimes an audience in one account for a similar offer will just do wildly different. Some audiences, some accounts, react really, really well to YouTube retargeting audiences. Other ones they don't. So you just kind of got to launch these, give them a fair test, and then just see what works out and what doesn't. As far as the specific audiences you're going to use for campaigns, so these are predominantly going to be audiences that you want to use for responsive video campaigns. So that's pretty much that done. As far as Performance Max, the only time I've seen that work, it doesn't really work very well for info product or like education offers. So I would just not use it at all in that case. If you're doing e-com and stuff like that, what I found it to be very good at is as like a remarketing effort. It's not very good at acquiring new customers, but it's very good at converting them along previously established pathways. So if you're using Performance Max as a retargeting campaign for ecom, or in some cases for info products, potentially can work well for that. Demand gen, this is something we're still testing. Again, seems like the broad audiences are doing better for this, but we're doing a bunch of testing. So as soon as I've got more updates on that, I'll let you know. And then for search, this is still something that we're keeping like strictly to keyword targeting. So typically there's a structure where I'll have branded keywords. So those are like the most valuable keywords you want to make sure that you're ranking for, even if you have very efficient SEO. So like the name of your business, the name of the founders of your business, etc. People searching for reviews, people searching for like, is ad support legit, or whatever it is for your business. You want to make sure that you're showing up in the top. So that's a branded search campaign. Again, I can go into that if that's of interest. And then cold is more keywords that we're targeting that are to acquire cold customers. So these might be similar to what we're going to use in a custom intent audience. So yeah, not worth going into as we're talking about YouTube today. Cool. And then when to conduct audience testing. So for this, what's really important is when you're starting out, everything's a variable. So all the ads you have are a variable. All the audiences that you launch are a variable. All the copy that you use is a variable. Potentially, if you haven't launched before, the funnel's a variable. So In the beginning, you want to just cast a wide net. I typically recommend having like 5 or 6 campaigns. I think it's a big mistake to just launch with one audience in the beginning. Really, you want to have kind of 5 to 10 keywords in a keyword group. Don't have like 50, 30, whatever it is. It's going to be very hard to understand why something's working. And if it doesn't work, it's going to be very hard to understand why it wasn't working. So if you can theme your keywords and keep them around that 5 to 10 mark, I find that works the best. If you identify that the audiences you're targeting are a bottleneck, so you'd need to look at the data. You'd need to look at the account and which audiences are performing and which aren't. So in that case, you would want to be more aggressive with audience testing. Again, launch similar to like you would if you were starting out. Even if you have winning campaigns, launch on a lower budget, 5 to 6 different audience tests. These might be split across the 5 audiences we're talking about. It might be custom intent audiences. It might be in-market audiences. It might be affinity audiences. Again, you're really just trying to aggressively test audiences so you can find some more that works, which is going to help you achieve more scale and essentially horizontal scale. And then lastly is hedging. So I look at media buying like investing a lot of the time. And so I will consistently test new audiences. It's a big mistake, even if things are going well, to just continue to just pump on the audiences that you're using. First of all, there's going to be a cap to the vertical scale you'll be able to achieve. And second of all, is if you burn out that audience or results to start dropping off a cliff, you don't have other campaigns, other audiences that you can scale into to replace that spend. So it's a big risk. Just having 1 or 2 audiences that are crushing, you should be consistently assigning 20% of your budget to testing. Sometimes that's going to be creative testing. Sometimes that's going to be audience testing, but that's for you to manage and for you to figure out. So let's jump into it. That's the pre-ramble out the way. I thought that was important though. So let's fucking get rid of that. Cool. So first is YouTube remarketing audiences. So if you're first launching on YouTube, this is something that should be 100% in your like first 5 campaigns. There's a big relationship between YouTube organic and the best clients that we've ever launched on YouTube ads have had a big organic following in the beginning. So if you're not making YouTube videos and not building your authority in your niche that way, I'd recommend that you do that. So remarketing audiences is something you should use. Again, if you have a tiny YouTube channel, don't have a YouTube channel, then you'll need to lean on these other ones. So compared to custom affinity is what I call it. Again, it could be called URL affinity. So this is something I've seen work pretty well across a number of accounts. Which is having competitive websites or competitive funnels targeted as an audience, which I'll show you exactly how to do that when we get to the next section. As far as my understanding of how this works, I don't think it's just targeting your competitors' traffic and people visiting those websites. I think it's most likely doing a keyword scrape of the website. And so there's been instances where I've used the client's own website in a affinity audience, a URL affinity audience, and it's worked. So that's most likely what I think it's doing. But regardless of the fact of how Google is building this audience and finding these people, I found it to work very well. So that's something I recommend you try. Solution-based keywords. So again, this comes back a little bit to the Eugene Schwartz breakthrough advertising stages of awareness thing, but I think it's kind of relevant when it comes to YouTube ads. So in the beginning, and at a lower scale, so up to like $500 a day, what we really want to be doing is finding people that are already searching for a solution. So if you have a property investing course, which is going to be the example I give when I build these audiences, you want to be finding people that are actively looking to buy a course, actively looking to gain further education before they invest in property, rather than trying to find brand new people that haven't really thought about investing in property or have thought about it and aren't serious about it. You really want to be going kind of as close to buying intent as possible. Why the reason for that is there's more scaling going super broad, but in the beginning, especially when you're first testing, you want to get to profitability as soon as possible, which is probably going to take 30, 60, 90 days on YouTube, given things move much slower than Facebook. So you just want to go as close to buying intent as possible, find people that are super warm and hot buyers. Again, you won't be able to get to 1,000 a day, 2,000 a day in ad spend just off these people, but you will be able to get some initial great results. And so that's the reason for doing that. I'll show you exactly what solution keywords look like in a second. Problem keywords. So again, this is a little bit of a stage further back from solution keywords. So people that know they have a problem, maybe they're like, how do I invest in property? How do you find good properties? Whatever it is, they have these problems around your area of expertise. They're starting to search for it. These are people that are warm. They're searching for solutions to problems. And so if we can put an ad in front of them, give them a solution, we're going to be in a good spot. And then lastly is in-market audiences. So there's a couple of types of these. These are Google built audiences, and this is people that Google says are in market for a certain thing. It might be buying a house, it might be buying a software, or buying advertising and marketing services, whatever it is. There's two different types of these. First is basically a list of keywords that Google compiled that they think links to that, those people being in market for that product. And then secondly is just a wider like interest, and then other data that isn't just keywords that they're using to build a picture of whether the people fit into that audience or not. So that sounds a bit vague, but I'll show you what it looks like in a second. So as far as building these audiences, what I wanted to show you is kind of a warm up. So if we go to page 1, that's probably the best place to start. So I'll put this in the description so you can use this as well. This is something that I recommend that you do. Don't just like randomly launch audiences. It should be kind of done sensibly, and you should know what you're doing, and then you could apply this to future campaigns. So what we're going to do here is basically specify what the genders are. If there's a specific gender that you target, if it's male, for example, I'd recommend including unknown. So unknown is going to include anybody that's not signed into a YouTube ads account, a YouTube account. So again, it can mean that you target people outside of the demographic you're trying to target, but in the beginning, it's best to just kind of leave the audience open and be a bit more broad. And then once you gather the data, if you find there's a lot of inefficiency coming from unknown, then you can obviously remove it. Again, age range, I try and leave that as wide as you can, probably include unknown in the beginning, but same if you run into the same applies. If you run into issues, remove unknown. Income ranges, I would really not mess about with this too much, because a lot of the time this can be the reason why your campaigns aren't spending, because you're just restricting the income too much. It makes sense if you have a high ticket program that you're going to just restrict it to the top 10 or 20% if you're going after entrepreneurs or whatever, but I've not found that to be the best solution. So I'm fine with you excluding the bottom 50%, but income range targeting only works in the US. And again, it's a guess. Facebook, Google doesn't know exactly what their income is. You don't input your annual salary when you sign up for YouTube. So they're taking audience signals, what videos they watch, what websites they visit, all of that stuff to build a picture and try and take a guess at what their income range is. But again, they don't know. So take this with a pinch of salt, and don't use it religiously, and don't just try and target the top 10, 20%. It won't lead to better results from your ads, from all of my experience. So in this, maybe you wanted to start with the United Kingdom. That's what you're going to start with. And then maybe if things go well, you're going to expand to like tier 1 countries. That might be United States, Canada, New Zealand, and Australia. I'd recommend that you keep this pretty tight in the beginning, where the majority of your clients come from at the moment. That's probably what you should use for this. This is a good place to store the ads that you're going to run. So again, they should all be unlisted. They should never be listed. So this is going to be whether it's cold or warm. So let's say it's cold. You're going to put the title of your video in, and then you're going to put the URL. So you can always grab these really quickly rather than having to scroll through your YouTube Creator Studio, especially if you're posting a bunch of organic YouTube videos. It's going to make it a mess. This is just a formula for creating the YouTube audiences. So I've already created these on another tab, which I'll show you, a bit of a Blue Peter moment if you know. But basically what you would do here, so maybe competitive one is Samuel Leeds in the property space. We're going to post his website in here. Obviously, we go and find it and not just guess. And then we're going to find his YouTube URL, so the URL to his YouTube channel. And then we're also going to find his funnel URL. So let's go across to the keywords, and then I'll show you exactly how to do that. So what we've got here, these are the audiences that I talked about. Oh, fuck. Go away. So you're going to go and find these websites. It should be super simple. Just search them on Google and they should come up. Paste them all in here. So just find a bunch of competitors. If you don't know, you can just start Googling it. Google like property investment course UK, and then you should find whatever it is or whatever your niche is. If it's like course for agency owners, SMMA course, whatever it is, go and type that in and just see which websites are ranking. And then those are probably the people that are most dialed in and probably going to be the biggest competitors of yours. Then we're going to find the competitors funnels again. And as you do this, you'll find not everybody that you've got a website for is going to be running ads on Facebook. There is a way to do this for YouTube as well with Transparency Studio, but I think this is probably the easiest method. So if you come to ad library, and you can search keywords like I did there. So if you type in UK property education, it's a bit of a mess because there's a lot of stuff that comes up that's irrelevant, but you can still find some stuff in here. Where is it? Yeah, select Paul Smith Wealth. This would be one, and then all you're going to do is click Learn More, which is just the button for the ad, and then it will take you to their funnel. So you can copy and paste that funnel URL in. So I'll just do Samuel Leeds as an example. Cool. Click book now, and then it will take you to his website. Cool. Bit of a technical glitch there. Word of warning, if you try and Loom a Facebook Ads Manager or any Facebook property, they turn the Loom camera off. And sometimes there can be microphone issues. So sorry about that. Let's get back to where we were. So essentially, you can still hear my voice. So if you just go to Ad Library, follow that process, you should be able to find the funnels for the competitors that you've got here. Next, we're going to go into the solution aware keywords. So again, in this example where it's like property investing, it'll be best property investment course UK. Bunch of different ways to say it. Again, this is probably a pretty good number. How many have we got here? We've got 8. So yeah, 5 to 10 is really what you should have for each keyword group. Please don't just do one, and then please don't do 30, 50 keywords. It won't lead to better results. And like I said, these are really themed. So if this works or doesn't work, I'm very clear on what to do next. I can go and find more keywords like this. If it's not working, I know exactly why it's not working. I can do something different. Whereas if there's a bunch of random keywords in there, it's very, very hard to understand whether something's working or not working, especially with custom intent audiences. It's not like keyword targeting was in the past where you could see specific performance of keywords. You can only see the overall performance of the custom intent audience. So I find it's very important to theme the keywords together in the beginning. So do that. And then next is going to be problem keyword. So again, I go and probably find some more than I've got here. Again, probably about 10 would be good for this type of audience. So it's going to be how to get into property investing, how to invest in HMOs, how to make money through property, whatever it is. A bunch of different keywords for people that are not necessarily looking for a course and super like ready to buy, but just a step back from that. They're actually searching for information, actually searching for education. These are going to be good people for you to get your ad in front of. So that's the audiences. Let's jump over to Google Ads and I'll show you how to make these. So come to the dashboard. It's on campaigns at the minute. So we're going to go tools, shared library, and then audience manager. Cool. So first of all, we're going to do the warm YouTube audiences. So under your data segments here, we're going to click the plus button, YouTube users. Let's do YouTube subscribers. Last 540. So 540 is the max audience that you can do. So I would recommend that you do that. Select my channel here, and then I'm going to do subscribe to the channel. That's 540 days. Cool. And then you want to make sure that it pre-fills the segment for the last 30 days. It's important you make this audience as soon as possible before starting ads because it only backdates for 30 days. So if only people that have subscribed in the last 30 days will be included in this audience. So yeah, it's very, very important that you do this as soon as possible because then over time, obviously it's going to fill up and get big. The audience does need to be above 100 people for it to serve. So I'd recommend that you only do this if you have a big enough YouTube channel. Obviously I don't, so help me out. Cool. There we go. We've built that audience. It will need to populate as well. So I'd leave it 24 hours and then just come back and see what's happened. Again, I would go through and do the same thing, but this time do YouTube video viewers. So we're going to have subscribers and then we're also going to have people that viewed any video in the last 540 days. Cool. With everything, when it comes to ads, I always recommend having a really good, like, strong naming convention so you know exactly what's happening. You know exactly what's in this audience at a glance. You don't have to click into it and look through all the settings to figure it out. Cool, that one's done. So next we're going to create audiences. So actually we need to do custom segments first. So the custom segments are housed inside of an audience. So we'll create the custom segments first. So we're doing the web. Let's do, yeah. This is my naming convention. Again, you don't need to can just stick them together for now. Cool. And then I'll always put a date on it as well, so I know when it was made. Cool. There we go. So what we're going to do here, we're not going to do either of these options. So this option is what's called custom affinity. So if people have interest or purchase intentions for a certain product. Custom intent is people in this category, which is people that search these terms on Google or Google properties, as it says. And then this is what we're going to do for this one, which is people who browse similar websites to these. So we're going to do the funnels to begin with, copy that, paste that in the right box, and then go back, grab the websites. Oh, cool. Paste those in as well, and then click save. So that's how you do the URL affinity audiences. The next one we're going to do CI solution. Cool. Cool. And then this time we're going to do people who search for these terms on Google. So come in here. Again, you can see why doing this, like, it makes it super easy, and you've got a record of what audiences you've tested and haven't tested. Whereas if you just randomly type the keywords in here, they're kind of not in a central place, and it makes it much more difficult. So I recommend using the sheet as your keyword research tool. Cool. So that's basically it. That's how you create the audiences. Again, you would just go and do the same for the problem keywords. If you split these out, you just do the same for those. Cool. And then come back here, and we're going to create the audiences. So this is the important part here. So we're going to call it the same as what the custom segment is called. There we go. So we're going to add the custom segment that we just made, which is this one. Cool. We're not going to add any of our own data. We're not going to add any interest or detailed demographics. Again, this is where you can search for in-market audiences. So if it was like property, I can't spell today. Cool. So if you look here, there's like investment property, crowdfunding and investment services, house flipping financing, overseas investing, investment services, financial planning. The most relevant ones are going to be at the top, and then as you get down, they just get more and more general. But again, you'll search this for whatever it is. Maybe it's like sales training. Cool. So sales training courses, sales skills development, sales improvement techniques. So whatever your audience, whatever your offer is, I would just search in here and see if there's some in-market audiences for you to target. But again, that's not what we're doing with this one. Exclusions, I never really run exclusions. It's not worth eliminating leads or anything like that. So skip over that. And then demographics, we're just going to copy what's on the sheet. So I don't know what we said there. Was it male only? Yeah. Cool. So let's say this is male only, just remove female, 18 to 44. And then under additional demographics is where the income is. So let's remove the lower 50%. Again, parental status, not something most people need to worry about. If it is relevant to you, obviously you can use it. Click save. And then that's audience is made and it's ready to be used with a campaign. So, oh, there we go. Sorry, setting off my OCD. Cool. So that's basically it. That's how you build the audiences. That's which audiences to create. And again, just go and test them and then report back to me and hate on me in the comment if they don't work. But they should. They should. There's going to be something in here that's going to be of benefit to you and help you achieve more scale with your YouTube ads or get started and start getting some clients from YouTube ads. So that's it. Any questions, let me know. See you in the next one.